Mr. Hasty, what did you think we were before you began to think of us as human beings?
Well, in a way, we thought of you almost as a very superior pet, something we had to take care of.
We declare our right on this earth to be a man, to be a human being, to be respected as a human being, to be given the rights of a human being in this society, on this earth, in this day, which we intend to bring into existence by any means necessary.
Good afternoon, friends, family, loved ones, enemies, contributors, distractors. This is Kevin Lewis on The Blueprint. And today's show is called 2 Cents and a Free Ride. And I'd like to welcome all the friends, family, loved ones, enemies, contributors, distractors. And this week, like I said, we're talking about 2 cents. Everyone want to put their 2 cents in. 2 cents and a free ride. And I'd like to thank Dee Dee for showing up. And we are taking callers on this show if y'all want to call in. This time, last week, it was a little bit of, I guess it was my fault. The phone, I guess the audio on the phone wasn't up. And I'm hoping y'all heard the introduction this week. Normally, you know, I come on with an introduction with music and whatnot. And I gave a little of the Burn, MF Burn video about us being labeled as pets, you know, just insight on that. And I'd like to thank RC for showing up. And hopefully y'all was able to hear a little of the music also. So that lets me know that my phone is working. So if anyone wants to call in and give a you know, give your intake or input on anything, you're welcome to call in. And hopefully this week it'll play over the air. Last week it didn't play over the air. I don't know what I had wrong or what I was doing wrong. But anyway, 2 cents. You know, and this week, many of us has been dealing with a lot of our friends, so-called friends, that they've been giving their 2 cents on things. And a lot of us have had to get rid of friends. I know I've gotten rid of, I don't normally do that, but I've gotten rid of a lot of people. And I've gotten into it with a couple of people personally because of the atmosphere that's happening and what's going on, and everyone wants to put their 2 cents in. But the thing is, a lot of people have opinions. Everybody has their 2 cents that they want to add on to what's going on about the riot, the looting, the protests, and how we should be doing it and what we should be doing. And my thing is this. That's okay. Everyone can have an opinion. But if you're not doing anything, then I don't want to hear what you got to say. If you're not out there doing anything, then I don't want to hear how you want to tell us to do things. And I mean, as a black person, if you're not out there doing anything, then I don't come and try to tell us what we're doing wrong or how we should be doing things. I'd like to thank Wayne for showing up. Appreciate you showing up to The Blueprint. And this is what I mean by people putting their 2 cents in. Because what it is we all ride. We all riding. We're riding wherever this thing is going. And we've been riding as a people. Some of us have been driven to get involved. Some of us are trying to drive. We're trying to do our own things. We're trying to find a way to get things done. And some of us just ride along. But anyway, we're moving one way or another. You're either riding with the movement, you're driving the movement, your own movement or whatever. but you're moving with us one way or another, because we as a people, it doesn't matter whether you're peaceful, you're violent, if they want to call you violent for defending yourselves, or whether you're a peaceful protester or a rioter. We're all riding together, because next week when you're being pulled over in your car, they don't know who is whom. They don't know who is whom. They don't know what religion you are. They don't know what background, whether you believe in peaceful protest. They have no idea. They had no idea what George Floyd, what his background was as far as what he believed. They had no idea what Breonna Taylor's background was. Tamir Rice didn't even have a chance to have a background. I mean, an outlook on anything like that. He was too young. But what I'm getting at is they don't care. It doesn't matter. We're all getting into this together. Because when we are being singled out, they don't care what your background is. So we all in this together. Whichever way you ride, however you feel. So right now, the atmosphere, we got a lot of the people taking over and they're rioting. We got a lot of people that's putting their 2 cents in about it should be peaceful protest. If you feel it should be peaceful protest, then go out there and peacefully protest. Continue to peacefully protest. But if you haven't been involved in a peaceful protest, you're not out there rioting, then don't have an opinion as far as I'm concerned. Of course, everyone has an opinion. You know what the saying is. But my point is, we can discuss that privately. If you say, man, you know what, I don't really think they should be looting. If you're discussing that with another black person, but once you go on social media, that's for everybody to see. And you're airing our disagreements publicly. And that's what I've deleted some people from. And I know RC said he deleted quite a few, but I'd like to know what was the reasons behind you deleting them. A lot of times we think people are our friends, like I spoke on last week. A lot of people aren't our friends. They're associates. And when the going gets tough, you find out who's really with you and who's not. I'd like to thank Ms. Cat Ford for showing up. Welcome to the Blueprint. But like I said, many of us, including, like, I deleted a lot of people. For me, it's a lot, because I never delete. Even if I feel someone is an idiot, I torment them. I mess with their little philosophies and whatever they post are. Even today, I did that with somebody. I don't even know them. But the thing is, I'm going to get into this first. If you're not black, your opinion doesn't matter. I'm going to put that out there right now. If you're not black, your opinion doesn't matter about black issues. If I have a problem in my household and you're outside of my household, your opinion on what's going on in my house doesn't matter. And this is how a lot of these people this is what they need to understand, because it's a condescending type attitude when you come and you can have an opinion, but don't come to us as a definitive, well, this is what I think and this is what I think you should do. That's the thing that irks me the most. I got into it with some people I associate with that was not black. And I've never had that water cooler type talk about the things that's happening at the time, the atrocities that's going on at the time, that's making national news. No one wants to talk about it. But as soon as the reaction happens, and the reaction isn't what they want, and even I'm going to put it like this. When the protest was happening, people had opinions. Well, I don't know why they want to be out there, blocking the streets and doing all this stuff like that. It was peaceful. It wasn't, rioting or anything like, because when you protest and they want you to cry quietly, you have an issue. You want things to change. You want things to be done. You're supposed to be able to protest, but they want you to cry quietly. And not only cry quietly, but get out the way. I don't want to have to see you crying. And in essence, they ignoring you. They want to be able to ignore you. They don't want to hear it. So sometimes you got to get their attention. You have to get people's attention. And sometimes when there's smoke, there's fire. That's how you get people's attention. That's how they've been getting our attention for the past 100 some odd years. They've bomb churches and stuff like that. They let us know. They didn't just tell us. They didn't just call us names. They let us know when we weren't welcome someplace, when we weren't wanted, and when we ignored those signs of saying that we weren't wanted, and we went and we tried to drink out the water fountain anyway, or we tried to sit in their restaurants. They let us know, and they didn't peacefully let us know. So now the shoe is on the other foot. And the thing is, we've been peacefully protesting for quite a while. Now, we've done both. And I had somebody today, I got into a little, somebody made a remark about, and they posted a picture, and they showed, I think, like something with the civil rights and Martin Luther King, and they locking arms and walking. And they said, this is a protest. Then they showed the people rioting today, and they say, this is a crime. Now, this is a non-black person. And I posted a picture of George Floyd being murdered. And I say, this is a crime also that continues to happen despite what type of protest we have. Someone came back and they retorted as like, well, yeah, just like the LA riots, what have that accomplished? And I said, well, it accomplished something in your memory. That was 93. Here you are 18 years later, 17, 18 years later, and you remember that because it made a mark in time. So it accomplished something. And then I asked that person, another non-black that chimed in, what part of a peaceful protest have you been in that accomplished something? Refresh my memory. Because, of course, you probably haven't been in any kind of protest with us, for us. And if you have, things are still happening regardless. So I never got a reply on that. But this is my thing about people wanting to give their 2 cents about what's going on with our issues. But they are not voicing anything when anything happens to us. They only want to tell us. Now, I had people a couple of years ago and last year when people were protesting peacefully. But there's like, well, why they have to be here? Or why they have to, I could be late for work. Well, the reason they're doing it like that because you're not paying attention. No one's paying attention to our cries. Just like a baby. When a baby is crying, when a baby is hungry, he's going to try to get your attention. And when you're not paying attention because they crying and you just want to pacify them, if they're hungry, they're going to suck on that pacifier for a little while. Then they're going to really start screaming and kicking, and they're going to turn red. They're going to want your attention. And we're at a point, our young people are at a point that they want your attention. They don't care about the peaceful BS. Now, like I said, if you're not black and you want to have an opinion, then be inquisitive about things. See, the thing that I got into it with the person that I call an associate, probably at my workplace, they came and they had a definitive opinion about what we need to be doing and why we need to be doing it and what we shouldn't be doing. And my thing is this. If you've never been attacked by a dog, who the hell are you to tell me how to react when the dog is attacking me? If you've never been attacked by a dog, who the hell are you to sit up there and have an opinion on how I need to react or respond? Especially if I'm telling you, man, a dog is attacking me. Your dog, I'm going to say it like this. If it's your dog, because those people are enabling these things to happen. They seem to be Blue Lives Matter and all this stuff like that. So you act like the cops are yours. They're endearing to you. So if your pet, every time I walk down the street, your dog comes out the fence and it starts attacking me and biting me. And I'm telling you, man, your dog keep attacking me. And you don't choose to do anything. And you saying, nah, well, you must have did something to provoke him. And nah, he's a good dog and all these things like that. And I go down the street the next day, your dog get out the fence and attacks me. And when I came out, my dog was in my fence. Yeah, well, your dog got out the fence and he attacked me. And we keep telling you this. And the next time I go down the street and I got a stick. And you want to tell me when your dog pops in the head, well, you shouldn't be doing that to my dog. Well, if your dog wasn't outside the fence attacking me, then he wouldn't get popped in the head because I didn't go inside his fence and pop him in the head. Evidently, your dog is out of line. This is how things are now. This is what's on the brink of happening. In a few occasions, these dogs got popped in the head. It happened in Dallas. It happened in LA. It happened in Baton Rouge. And right now, buildings are just burning. Windows are just being broken out. But things can get worse if they don't get any better. That's what my point is. So you want to give your 2 cents, and when people are trying to peacefully protest, like we've been doing this for decades, peacefully protesting, and that's the way to do it. And, you know, but you're not hearing us. So if you're not hearing us, then we try to cry a little louder. We start blocking traffic. We start making things uncomfortable. But then y'all want to run people over. And like I said, I posted something a week ago where a fire chief had a shirt on. All lives splatter or something like that when they get hit by a truck. You know, you think it's funny. You think things like this is funny. And when I got into the discussion with the person that I work with, you know, they thought, you know, man, look at these people getting ran over. What's wrong with them? What's wrong with the people getting ran over? I'm going to tell you what's wrong with them. They tired of the BS that's happening in this country. They tired of being victimized. And he asked me, well, why would they stand in front of a truck? I said, because they was probably thinking the truck was going to stop. Well, that's dumb. No, it's not dumb. It's not dumb at all. Because a lot of these people that's being arrested for running people over are white supremacists. That was their intention. Because if I'm in a company truck and I run somebody over, I'm held accountable. If I'm in a company truck and I hit a damn a basketball goal on the side of the street, I'm held accountable, let alone a person, because I could have just stopped. It's nothing that urgent that you could take somebody's life, but they go out there with that intention because they don't want you to be blocking the street. They want you to cry quietly out of the way so you could be ignored, so they can ignore you. And that's what the problem is. So that's what irked me, because here this person is, you're not in this situation, but you definitively trying to tell somebody that's been dealing with this BS damn near all of my life. Every black person I know can tell you a story. Damn near every black person I know can tell you a story about being mistreated by police officers or seeing someone that's been mistreated by police officers, family members, friends, whatever, people in our community. It's not new, but we're tired of it. But yet here you are when all these things are happening. You haven't had a word to say. You haven't had any 2 cents to put in about what should be done to stop it. But the only time you want to put your 2 cents in is when we get upset and we start burning shit down. Some of us, because the thing is with a lot of these protests and things like that that's turned into riots, the looting part, when you have a whole bunch of people, when you have thousands of people all over the country, hundreds of people here, thousands of people there, you don't control everybody's actions. And then they've shown that they put people in those protests to invoke things, to make the movement look mad. I mean, we're seeing constantly people writing BLM on houses, and they doing it they damn self, trying to make it look like, well, if they put BLM, that must have been a black person, because that means Black Lives Matter. And then they trying to make the movement look bad. And a lot of us are falling for it. That's the disappointing thing, because a lot of people that look like me are falling for that nonsense. For one, and for two, if we didn't have to be out there, just like you looking at these police officers, well, not all police officers are bad, but it's a lot of them that's bad. Y'all can't control them. We got it on videotape. This is a structured job, an organization structured. And y'all can't put a handle or get a handle on them. But yet you expect it to be a handle on everyone that's not in the organization. All these people out here that's protesting, they're not part of Black Lives Matter. They're part of a movement. They're part of the frustration. They're not part of Black Lives Matter. And I had to explain that to somebody else. I'm like, you know, in San Antonio, Black Lives Matter is not that big. It's not that many members. All right, man, you see all the people at the courthouse? I say, yeah, those are people that's frustrated. I'd like to thank Danietta for showing up, and Gwen. I appreciate you showing up to the blueprint. And this is what I'm trying to explain to somebody. I went to the Million Man March a couple of years ago. That Farrakhan through. Nation of Islam. I'm not in the Nation of Islam. Most of those people that showed up wasn't in the Nation of Islam. Just because people showed up to a movement that someone threw doesn't mean that they're part of that movement or that organization. They may be part of the frustration and part of that event, but that don't mean that they're part. I'm not in the nation, but I showed up to the Million Man. It wasn't a march. I guess they could call it a Million Man March. But I showed up to that. I'm not in the nation. Most of those people that was there, I'm going to say most of them wasn't in the nation. You know the nation when you see them. Most of those brothers and sisters was not in the nation. They didn't wear the suits. They didn't, you know, they wasn't covered. The ladies wasn't covered the way a lady in the nation would be. So this is the misconception, and this is the fear that's going on with people seeing all these people show up. But that's fine. I care less. You're not in the house. You're not part of the family. You're somebody that's looking on TV, but you got your 2 cents that you're trying to put in. You know, this is the problem. And this is the problem, the frustration that I had when somebody outside is trying to tell me definitively. Now, if you want to be inquisitively wanting to talk to me about it, I have no problem. I can explain to you. But you trying to tell me what's foolish and what's not foolish. What's going to get things done and what's not going to get things done. You know, this is the problem that I have. Well, outsiders putting their 2 cents in. And really, I don't want to hear it. You could talk to your other friends. And then those that come on social media that don't want to say anything because they got white friends. You know, they don't want to alienate their friends. You know what? It's noted. Don't come to me with no solutions. If you can't talk about the problem, then how the hell are you going to talk about a solution to a problem? That's what my thing is too. Now then we have on the other hand, we got some of us, like I said, people that look like me that want to sit up there that don't do a damn thing. You ride along. You want to ride along. But then you want to give your 2 cents. And that's just like a backseat driver. Because like I said, we all riding. Wherever this thing go, we all riding there together. But then you got backseat drivers. And y'all know how it is when you giving somebody a ride somewhere. And these young people, these people that's out there doing something, they frustrated and everything like that, they not wanting your direction. Because if you black, if you've been attacked by this dog before, if you did the right thing, then I wouldn't be getting attacked by that dog. If that dog was attacking you yesterday, last week, or last year, and I'm getting attacked today, I don't want to hear what you got to say. I don't want to know. I don't want your advice on how to deal with the situation. Because if you would have dealt with the situation correctly, that dog wouldn't even be attacking me. If you would have dealt with that dog the way you should have, that dog wouldn't want to bite nobody else. That dog probably shouldn't even have any more teeth. But this dog, this racist dog, this racism, it has a lot of teeth because it continued to bite us. And we continue to try to do things. And we tried one way. We tried another way. We still trying ways. But like when Kaepernick protests, you want to tell us what you don't like about the way we protested. That's peaceful. Everything we try to do is wrong. Like we the ones that's causing the damn problem. Everything we try to do is wrong. I'm trying to bring attention. I'm trying to bring attention to the situation. That's what Kaepernick was saying. But he's doing it the wrong way. To hell with the situation. To hell with the problem. I don't like the way you're trying to let us know about the problem. So we're going to ignore it. And not only that, we're going to punish you for not doing it the way we want to do it. That's what's been happening. That's why everything is boiling over now. But then you have some of these Negroes, these Negro pens, Negroes and Negro pens to the rescue. They want to tell you what you need to do and how you need to do it. Well, you do it the way you want to do it. You take control of your remedies or your solutions. You do it your way. And if you're doing it your way and you got you up to your elbows in it, then you can't even be paying attention to what I'm doing. I'm going to read a comment from Tiffany. She said, welcome to the Blueprint, sister. She said, our problems need to be solved by us. And she said, you're speaking to me on several levels today. I have multiple dogs I need to control. I appreciate those comments. And she said, we tired of the boot on our necks, really. And I mean, that sums it up right there. We're tired. We're tired of y'all telling us don't do things a certain way. How to cry. How to let you know that we're in pain. How to let you know that we're not trying to keep dealing with this. Because it goes in stages. And then we have some of these Negro pens that sit up there and they want to put their 2 cents in. Some of them ain't doing a damn thing to solve the problem. And you telling us about rioting and looting and watching that video. I don't know if y'all heard I'm hoping that y'all heard the intro and everything like that. But I think it was Burn LA Burn or Burn MF Burn. And if you haven't seen that documentary, that's something that you need to pay attention to. And this is for those that's part of our family, the black family, and those that's outside. Now, we have friends that's outside. I call you allies. You allies. Some of y'all are good friends. Some of y'all are allies. But if you don't understand what I'm going through, then talk to us about it. If you don't understand, then don't try to tell us like you know better. Like you know better than all these people that's been dealing with this for the last 100 years. The issues keep changing. The problems keep mounting. But here you are, you watching Fox News and you think you got remedies for everything that we're going through and how we need to go through it. As if we don't have those type of minds in our communities. Like we don't know how to start dealing with these dogs. You know, this is what my aggravation with those outside that want to talk to us like we're children. I'm a grown ass man and I'm going to deal with things in a grown man situation when it hits home. But I'm talking to my people. And everybody don't deal with things the same way. But what I'm saying is what I won't do, I won't go social media or to the media and discredit anybody's frustration on what they're dealing with. I won't do that. And I even try to talk to some of my friends that didn't understand. I'm like, yeah, see, I understand you have an opinion. You have 2 cents. But don't condemn those that's doing things one way and you're not doing a damn thing but talking on Facebook. That don't get things done. And Tiffany said, we've been conditioned to take it. So get our reward in heaven. And it's so sad. And that's true. Anybody that tells you, any organization, I don't want to, get on any group or anything, but I'm saying that anybody that's telling you to turn the other cheek, they doing you a disfavor. Anybody that's going to tell me, well, in the Bible it say turn the other cheek. I'm going to say, well, in the Bible it say an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth also. You could read the same book. You could read it, but I'm looking at another part. And if you believe turning the other cheek is going to get you what you need to get done, get somebody off your back, then do it. But don't condemn me for having an eye for an eye attitude. Don't condemn me for that. And this is what our problem is with the people in the black community, because we got so many people that want to ride, but they want to give directions. Why don't you drive your own movement the way you want to move, where you want it to move? And Gwen said, she said, angry, ready to fight back by all means possible. Tired of trying to be constructive and positive, praying for the right thing to do. I appreciate those comments. And Tiffany said, even Jesus turned over tables and went off. And yes, he did. I appreciate Avelina for showing up. And Wayne said they want everybody to think everything is all right, and that there's race problems in America. And see, that's the thing. We know that there's the issues in America. And the thing that these black people, some of us that want to speak out against others, if you have your movement and you're doing something, my thing is I never speak out against another organization and how they're doing things, because it's room for everyone to do something. It's room for all of us to be doing something. We can all try something. But what I was trying to tell somebody, why are you being critical of somebody else's movement? It's not one way that we're going to solve this. See, the thing that they got us doing, they got us dissecting ourselves. That's how much they got us twisted and turned around. They got us dissecting our own organs in the movement. They got us pitting Malcolm against Martin, W.B. Du Bois against, Garvey. They got us doing that. Now, those two could be at odds of what they believe in. But see, I'm talking about us, how we're seeing what they were doing. They got us talking about the Black Panther parties against the nation, or Malcolm against the nation. They got all this happening. These are all part of our body. Your heart doesn't do the same thing that your liver does. Your lungs don't do the same thing that your kidney does. They all have a job to do. They all do the job differently for that body to function. We are one body. Your heart doesn't go against your kidneys. Your lungs don't go against your liver. They all function together. They don't do the same thing, but they all function. But they got us tearing each other apart as if this is the only way to live. You need a heart to live, yeah. But what's your heart without a brain? You're going to be a vegetable. How much of a living is that? What is your heart without your lungs? You're not going to survive. We're dissecting our own movements and our own people in our movement. You got to have a right and a left hand. Your right hand and your left hand are not the same. They're total opposites. Your right leg and your left leg is total opposite. You got Martin, you got Malcolm, total opposites in the movement. But they're all part of the body. They're there for us to learn from. I got a right hand and a left hand, a right arm and a left arm, a right leg. That's how I walk. But we dissect ourselves. We got to choose one. I got to choose my right hand over my left hand. Some people are left-handed. Some people favor Martin's way of doing things. Then do that. But just because you're left-handed, you don't want to chop off your right hand. That gives you the balance. That gives us the balance in the movement. So when they come and they see rioters and looters and they saying, don't do this, or that's not the way to get things done, then you could come back and say, well, we were doing it like this. I used my left hand and you didn't want me using my left hand. So now I'm using my right hand. I turned it to the left. It wasn't, the pressure wasn't coming off. It wasn't untightening. So now I'm trying to loosen it up with my right, going to the right. And we can use that example against them. We did it this way. We did it that way. We tried it this way. So what you gonna do? So we need both sides to complement each other. So that when they come at us and saying, well, you know what, rioting ain't getting it done. Well, we protested. What got done? It's still happening. That's what my question, that's what my answer is to some of those people that want to question what we doing or what's happening out there. And I'm going to tell y'all what's got done. All these people now, they saying, now I remember on the 93 LA riots, I remember H. Rap Brown, he said, you know, the people started looting. It's chaos. Nobody's in control. It's no one leader saying do this and do that and then you move here. It's no general to the army. It's a whole bunch of people with no leadership, chaos, frustration. But you want everyone to be stringent, not to step out of line. You can't even do that in your own damn police force. They have a commissioner, police chief, lieutenants, sergeants. And they'd be stepping out of line. But you want a whole bunch of people to be stringent. Like just like when y'all want us to be like some of these Negro pens with black on black crime. You know, the same BS that we keep saying, that's a Negro pen thing. You speaking for them with your Negro lips. That's all you are. That's what you're doing. Like I read a comment from Desiree. Desiree, she said, absolutely, religion is a lot of the reasons why we still have this biting dog. Instead of getting rid of the dog, we are still waiting on the Lord. I appreciate those comments. And Wayne said you need to keep that dog locked up. And the thing, and Ms. Cass said this example is right on time. I appreciate those comments. And that's what I'm saying. And what people need to understand is when we're talking about religion, if your religion is telling you to turn the other cheek, turning the other cheek is something that your enemy wants you to do. Your enemy is putting those things in there. Now, turning the other cheek was at a time that you should be turning the other cheek, probably. There is time to turn the other cheek. And you know what? I'm going to tell you like this. If I'm going to reference your Bible, it's going to be an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth in certain situations with me. And there's going to be a time that I'm going to turn the other cheek. And the time that I want to turn, it's a time that I'm going to be like Malcolm. It's a time I'm going to be like Martin. When I'm going to be like Malcolm is when I'm dealing with this BS that's happening, this racism. When I'm going to try to be understanding and turn the other cheek is when I'm dealing with us. Because I got to understand why you're doing what you're doing. Brother, I understand why you're mad. Brother, I understand that our education system ain't what it should be. Brother, I understand that you may, the situation that we have been put in as a people to not care about each other. But since I'm beyond that, I'm going to try to be a little more, give you a little more leeway. And I'm going to try to teach you something, young brother. I had a sister tell me most of the people that went against me is black. And I told her, I said, well, that's what the problem is right there. And it's not that most of the people were black that was going against you. She told me, she said, I was in a gang, a female gang, and these white people weren't my enemies. It's like, bingo. There you have it right there. She didn't understand what I meant. It's like, I'm talking about your mindset. You don't understand. You just looking on the surface. You don't even understand. When it's two dogs in a dog fight, the dog's enemy right now is that dog that he fighting against. But it's people that's holding the leashes, that's setting you up to fight your own kind. But you can't see past that. That dog ain't really your enemy. Y'all are set up to fight each other. But you can't see past that. We can't see past that. So when I'm going to turn in the morning is when I'm dealing with us that don't understand what's going on. But when I'm dealing with hatred, when I'm trying to do self-defense, it's a time to go to school, time to go to class, time to talk peacefully and try to get understanding. And it's the time you take martial arts. When somebody's breaking in your house, trying to hurt your family, that ain't a time to be diplomatic. That's not the time for that. They know that. They know that. But that's what a lot of our problems are. We want to be diplomatic no matter what. There's a time for everything. Like I think the Bible says that somewhere in there. It's a time and place for everything. It's a whole lot of books that say that. It's a time and place for everything. Wayne said a lot of these fools out here starting these fires and breaking these businesses are white supremacists. And that's true. I mean, we seen things like that on the internet. But you know what? And my thing is this. It doesn't even matter, because with all that said, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to stifle the movement. But people are pissed off. People are aggravated. If you're going to burn something, like I was getting at, this is what I was getting at with that, the documentary. H. Rap Brown said, he said, stop looting and start shooting. If you're going to loot somebody, go loot the gun store. Get you some guns. You know, and that's what they was about. They was like, you know, it ain't about no TVs and things like that. That's not going to help you. And the only thing my constructive criticism about any of the rioting, I ain't telling nobody not to do anything. I'm saying when you come back from this, whatever you do, make sure that you had a change in yourself. Make sure you change how you look at things and how you going about things. Because if you keep doing the same damn thing that you was doing before all of this happened, then all you did was vent it, and it's going to go right back to how it was. You got to change yourself. You could go do, and I'm not criticizing anybody for doing anything. I don't give a damn if you burn Target, Walmart. I don't care. You know, really, I'm beyond that point of being critical of anybody doing anything. I understand the frustration, but my thing is have a change in yourself. If you don't change what you're doing, if you're not trying to build yourself, then you're not having a revolution. You're just having frustration. If you're not starting to say, you know what, I need to wake up. I need to start having a black mindset, to start buying, investing in black owned businesses, to start spending my money here instead of there, to look at, now a lot of us that sit up here, and this is what my point is with some of us that look like us, you know, if you are not going to take part in a peaceful solution that we came up with, leadership has come up with, our people are moving towards, because you're unable to do it. You don't want to be uncomfortable. When we call for a boycott of Christmas, to try to stop the murders that's happening, to try to hurt them economically, to boycott Black Friday, and you saying you can't do that, then don't be critical when we're doing something else. That's my only thing. You could be critical if you're doing something. Everybody could be critical, but I'm not going to have a tolerance. If you can't stop watching the NFL because you're addicted, that's fine. I understand that everybody's not going to move the same way. But if you're not going to move when this is what we're trying to do, then don't be trying to criticize the frustration when things keep happening, because we're at a point where things keep happening. And if things are happening, we tired of that shit, then we're going to start doing some, you know, it's going to be rioting and looting going on. But if you can't stop when we saying they using, they blackballing Kaepernick, we need to protest the NFL. Nah, I can't do that. Just shut your damn mouth when things start to escalate because you didn't support what we were trying to do peacefully. That's what my point is about us, giving our 2 cents. And regardless, you're going to ride with us regardless. And this rioting stuff, the looting and everybody want to talk about, they want to focus on the little rioting and looting and smoke that's out in the streets. It hasn't stopped. The movement is happening. Things are getting done. Things are getting done that didn't get done before. I got a list of things. You got the Premier League in soccer. A team in a lot of the teams in the Premier League. The soccer league, Premier Soccer League. They want to wear Black Lives Matter on their uniforms instead of their names. Soccer. We're not big on soccer. Black people, that's not even our main sport. We football, basketball, you know, baseball to an extent. Soccer is probably somewhere down the line. We track. But they're supporting us despite the rioting and looting, as if that's going to hurt our movement. Now, things are happening. We got NASCAR boycotting, well, not boycotting, getting rid of the Confederate flag at their events. Now, this is a big thing. NASCAR is big with Confederacy. They show up, you know, that's a big thing in the South. NASCAR been around since 1948. 1948, I believe. That's a long time. And they've been flying the Confederate flags out there without a problem with it. Nobody had a problem with it. That's redneck country. That's fine with them. But now they like, nah, we stopping that. They're stopping that. And you want to look at the Marines, military forces, the Marines banning the Confederate flag on June the 7th. They announced that you can't fly the Confederate flag on base anymore, on no Marine base. You can't fly that Confederate flag. And then the Air Force came on June the 9th and backed it the same way, you know, and they're putting pressure on the Army. People are questioning the Army. Okay, the Marines that did it, the Air Force is, the Navy. Man, I said the Air Force, but it's the Navy. I'm wondering what the hell the Air Force is going to do. But the Marines that did it on June the 7th, the Navy come back, followed suit a couple of days later. And now people are questioning the Army, and I'm suspecting that they're going to make some kind of announcement soon. Hopefully. But things are getting done. That's what my point is. The NFL pledged to give $250 million over the next 10 years. They upped the ante. They were already pledging for social justice. They're giving $250 million. The commissioner, Roger Goodell, came on and made a video. He didn't mention Kaepernick's name, but you know what? Yeah, that's a problem. But he basically said we were wrong in addressing this national anthem thing. Now the thing is, Goodell don't hire players. He don't give players jobs. He don't put players on the team. That's the owners. The owners have been silent. They haven't said a word. And that's my thing. If you out there supporting your Cowboys, and Jerry Jones can't wait to make a comment about any damn thing. When he make a comment about Kaepernick, about, indirectly, toes on the line and all this stuff. When Trump say something, then he quick to get on the mic. He can't wait to talk. But now he ain't saying shit. But y'all still backing that. None of the owners are saying anything, but we still backing that. But I understand. Enjoy your pleasures. But don't talk. Don't give me your 2 cents. Don't give me your 2 cents when you can't, when we try to tell you don't spend your dimes and nickels. You can't do that, but you want to give us 2 cents on what we're doing and how we're doing it. Shut up and continue doing what you're doing and do things the way you want to do it. That's how I feel. That's why I have no tolerance for people that want to put their 2 cents in. But the thing is, just like with the Birmingham boycott, Rosa Parks. Now I'm gonna get into that because next week I'm gonna get into a lot of that. But the Birmingham boycott, 1955, Rosa Parks, December the 1st. The whole thing of refusing to give up her seat. December the 5th, she went to court on December the 4th. They fined her and everything like that. December the 5th, 40,000 blacks in Birmingham boycotted the buses for one day. It was supposed to be a one-day event. Then a young 26-year-old Dr. King got involved, and he was like, we could keep this going. Because things didn't change. You boycott one day, that's not hurting their pocketbooks. People like, well, on this one day, we're going to not spend some money. Make that a habit. Picking one day to do some kind of boycott, that's cool. That's camaraderie. But that's not making a splash. We should be doing that constantly. Anytime you could stop spending your money on them, stop watching their games, start hurting them, then you're going to get things done. But but boycott for the first day, December the 5th, then they carried it on. They was like, nah, we're going to continually do this. Taxi drivers got involved. People were carpooling. 40,000 blacks the first day. The blacks made up 70% of the bus riders in Birmingham. And if you think about it, that's economics, because we couldn't afford cars like they could. It's just like today. Many people that's riding the bus is because they don't have cars. But at that time, many of us couldn't afford cars at that time. We wasn't making enough money. So we made up 70% of the bus riders. And we stuck together and we said, nah, we're not gonna ride. We hurt them. That hurt the economy. That hurt the bus. So that started something. That started things to happen. Now the crazy thing with that, the reason I was bringing that up for those two reasons, it shows it lasted till December the 20th of the next year. It lasted just over a year. Things got done. They started segregating the buses. They used to have a line where the colored people were at in the back and the white people. Now, long as no white people got on the bus, if the colored section was full, black people could come and sit in the front until somebody needed that seat. A white person came on. The white person wasn't going to sit in the back. White person needed these seats. And if you were sitting up front and a white person got on and needed your seat, then you had to get up and stand up in the back. Those seats was reserved for them. But the thing is, we had power because we were the main ones riding the buses. And we stuck with the boycott more than one day. Over a year it lasted. We carpooled. They got people to carpool. Anybody had a car, give everybody else a ride. And I imagine it wasn't 2 cents being put in about, the damn boycott this. Those people stuck together and got something done. Something that we not doing. Because we bickering. We want to put our 2 cents in. And if you can't stop spending your dimes at Christmas and Black Friday, then I don't want your 2 cents. Don't give me 2 cents, but you giving them your dimes and your dollars and your nickels and stuff. We don't need your 2 cents. Just do what you're going to do the way you want to do it. And if you got another way of doing it, then do it another way. But don't be critical of us if you can't stop giving them your dimes when that's what we plan to do. That's what the movement that was going on. You don't want to be part of that. They don't have anything to say when things start going awry because we got a chance. We had an opportunity to hurt them, to let them know that we were serious. We gave them the opportunity. But, and when I mean them, I mean some of us. But some of us didn't want to follow suit, and that's fine. But just don't have nothing to say. If you can't stop spending your nickels and dimes, then don't give us 2 cents. Just ride. Don't say nothing, just ride. Wherever this going to take us, just ride with us. And the thing about that is, see, when you're a parent, if you can't stop watching the NFL, then just ride. I don't want to hear about what you think or how you think we should go about things, because a lot of us think that we should stop watching the NFL, but you don't want to do that. That's fine, but don't give us 2 cents. Save your 2 cents. But see, your kids are watching. And the thing I remember when I was young and I was coming up, we used to be big on Christmas. That was our favorite holiday. Most kids, that's their favorite holiday. Bigger than birthdays, bigger than any of that. And when things got tight, we knew things were tight because my parents, they talked to me and my sister like, hey, this is what it is. We can have electricity, we can have lights, or y'all can have some kind of Christmas. They already knew what the answer was, but they just trying to break it down to us. And we was hoping that wasn't going to be the case. We was hoping, well, maybe they're still going, it's just going to be a surprise. They just telling us this. And when we woke up that Christmas morning, there was still no presents. That was hurtful. But we knew things was real. That was the first time I dealt without having a Christmas as a kid. That was hurtful. But I knew things were serious. And this is an opportunity that many of us, our parents, have. If you have kids and you can't give up on Christmas, This is a learning time. This is a time that you could teach them that sacrifices need to be made, how serious things are out here that's happening. To say, you know what? We're not doing Christmas because this is going on and we need to make a difference. That's going to stick in their mind. And it's probably going to hurt that time, but they're going to understand that things are real. But if you keep doing what you're doing, that means that having gifts and presents is bigger than anything that's happening in their world. If you can't stop, you sit there and you got your son's jerseys and y'all watching the NFL every Sunday. If they see you make a sacrifice, this is how you could teach them sacrifice. They know how much you love this. They know how much you know that they love this. But this is your time to tell them, this is us sticking together for a movement. This is bigger than the NFL. But many of us can't do that. Many of us don't do that. I'm going to read a comment. Jesse, Assalamu alaikum, brother. I appreciate you showing up. He said the only thing that they care about is loss of life and loss of finances. Economic separation is the solution. And that's true. I mean, that's black nationalism. That's what it is today. They're not going to give us any land here or anything, 40 acres and a mule, all that. Whatever black separation, you got to do it on your own. You got to do it with your money. Support black businesses. Over the weekend, yesterday, I posted it. I opened up a bank account with a black bank. I did it online. It took me less than 5 minutes to do the application. I don't care where it's at. You know, it's the biggest black bank in America. That's economic power. I have no reason. Now, I'm still with the bank that I was with. I'm with USAA. But what I did, I took a lot of my money and I put it into a black bank because I'm empowering us. You know, basically, I still have my account with USAA because a lot of my things that's financed is through USAA. And for that's, you know, that's what I'm dealing with. But to open up an account, all you need is $50. That's all you needed was $50 savings or a checking account. Now, it was a bank. It's a bank here in Houston that's black-owned bank. The only one bank in Texas. It's none in San Antonio. But I saw something yesterday. It was 38 black-owned banks and credit unions. And I think it's like 20-something banks altogether. But you could bank at a credit union. You see, the thing is, everything is online now. I mean, I haven't walked in my bank here in town in a long time. You know, pretty much a long time. I do everything online. So it doesn't matter if my bank is here or my bank is in Houston, my bank is in California, whatever, because I could take my money out. Now they're going to give me my, my debit card, credit card, ATM card, whatever. I could do transactions. But like I was talking about, I believe last week, when you empower, that's how banks make their money. When they have assets, when they have people putting their money in there, then they lean that money out. They loan that money to somebody and they get interest back. The more money that they have to play with, that empowers them. All black people, many black people, as you know, y'all should open up some kind of bank account. I don't care if you just take $100 and open up a bank account and put it in a savings account and don't touch it until you really need it. Have a separate ATM card. You're giving them more chips to play with. Power in this monopoly game. Shopping at black stores, restaurants. Pass that information along. You know, everything is always restaurants. Go online. They got black, man, it's already 4:00. They got black fashion designers. You know, not the Sean Johns. I'm talking about just beyond that you could go online and order your stuff. We always going to Amazon. Go to We Buy Black. And if you don't want to go there, some of those companies that's with We Buy Black, look those companies up and go directly to their websites. You know, We Buy Black is like a black Amazon. They're small right now. They've gotten smaller because we haven't been supporting them. When I first went and looked at on the website, they had a lot more stuff. Now they don't have as many companies because we don't support it. Amazon started off small. But that's how you have black separation. That's when you're talking about separation that people can actually get into. And speaking of Amazon, that's part of the problem. That's part of what I was going to get into also. Those are things that's changing. Changes are being made. Netflix, you know, black movies. Amazon. They're talking about Black Lives Matter. All these Negro pens that want to talk about just rioting and looting and all these things, that's not how you get things done. Things are getting done. We just got to motivate each other. We got to prod each other. You know, hey, try this, try doing this, support ourselves. This is what we need to do. But as a parent, you are the example for your kids. And if you're not taking these things serious and you're showing that you can't sacrifice anything for this movement, then that's showing them that this movement is not that big of a thing. They know it's serious with me when I stop watching the NFL. When I started giving up the things that I love to do, because the movement is more important than all of that, than my comfort. I'm going to read a comment from Wayne. Wayne said, Dr. King once said, nonviolence was just a tool to use for peaceful change. But if it doesn't work, then we have to take up arms. He said, I pray that it doesn't happen. I appreciate those comments. And Jesse said, we have brilliant and smart brothers and sisters. And we can make it happen, and we can. I mean, we're architects, we're builders, we're geniuses. That's in us. But we have to use that. There's things out there that we can do. Revolution, you know. People get scared of that word revolution, but a revolution is turning things around. Revolution is start with yourself and think about doing things differently than what we've been doing it. That's what I meant by all the rioting, all the protesting, whatever you want to do. It doesn't mean anything if you're going home doing the same. If you're giving your money to the same businesses, and then a lot of these businesses that you're giving your money to support the people that you don't, you know, they support Trump. And all these people that's so anti-Trump and Trump is this and that, but you funding him, you fueling him by fueling the businesses that's backing him. They giving your dollars to him. And if you don't have the wherewithal to look online and say, okay, who's backing him? Who's fueling him? And you keep giving your money, then you're not serious as far as I'm concerned. I don't really want to hear about Trump if you still giving your money to the businesses that support him. You half-ass on the movement. One booty cheek. That's what I call it. You half-ass. You half-ass doing things. You just worried about one thing, but you're not doing anything to back taking away his power. And Wayne said, I may have misquoted Dr. King, but it's close to it. Yeah, you paraphrased it. That's cool. We could do that. I don't think he minds. And but this is what I'm getting at. There's things that we could do. We all could do things, but one thing we can't do is criticize each other, especially if you're not doing anything. I don't want to hear. Now you could do it. I'm saying don't do it with me, because I'm gonna get on you. I'm gonna snap on you. You know, sister, that people, friends, and they sitting up there talking about these black people doing this, these black people doing this. They better not, you know, do this and do this and do that, because I'm gonna take up my arms and, you know, like you're gonna go against us. Nah, sister, I can't be your friend, because I'm going to say something out of line to you. It ain't going to be out of line for me. So instead of doing that, I got to, you know, delete you, you know. But you're not going to do that with me. You know, if you got an opinion, I'm going to ask you about Christmas. You got an opinion about voting, I'm going to ask you about Christmas. You got an opinion about who gonna vote and who don't vote, I'm gonna ask you about the NFL. You know, I'm gonna ask you what you doing if you got something critical to say about us. Now, maybe some things I'm not doing that some people want to do, but I'm doing something else. Dwayne, appreciate you showing up to the blueprint. He said pacification. That's true, 100%. We babies, we pacify. Some of us, you know, some of us ain't taking that pacifier. Some of us are. And they fooling us with it because they're not feeding us what we want. And we want freedom, justice, and equality. And really, I'm going to tell you, I don't care what y'all, I don't care how they feel about us. I don't care what they want to do. My thing is us. I want to see us doing things for us. When we doing things for ourselves, that's going to empower us. When we putting our money in a black bank, that's going to empower us. When we, it's a SA Black Business Group or something that I'm part of. They was like, it's 7,000 members here. And I'm like, that's cool. And they said, we give $1 a week. Pick an organization or a company or a business here in San Antonio and give $1 a week. That'll be a powerful thing. And people like, yeah, let's do that. And we just need to, whatever business it is, empower ourselves. $1 a week. Skip that one taco, breakfast taco, whatever you're doing, $1. That's nothing for many of us. Tracy said, each one teach one, reach one. I appreciate those comments. Wayne said, we've done that. Now it's time to kick in the door. Yeah. I mean, take that how you want, And Gwen said, okay, I got you. And Wayne gave me the, preacher man gave me the the chapter in the Bible, the time for everything. And Robert said, no more Home Depot. Go to Lowe's. And that's another thing. See, that's information we need to share. I remember I was saying that a long time. I gave a bunch of companies that was Trump supporters. That tell you what their mindset is. And Trump is the poster child, but racism is, I saw it's a group here, supposed to be our leaders, and they steady talking about, if you want to change racism, we're going to have a meeting, and it's going to be in November. But see, that's not going to change racism. You feeding our people bull. I don't care what president is in office. Get him out, that's cool, but don't sit up there and feed us that's going to change racism. Because things change by generations. And that's why I was getting into the parenting thing. If your kids see that you're doing something, they're going to come up with a new generation. What's happening? All this NASCAR Confederate flags. I'm going to tell y'all this. It's a whole bunch of countries that fly the Confederate flag that's not American. I'm going to tell y'all a list of countries. I got a list of countries that fly the Confederate flag, that have some kind of affiliation with the Confederate flag. And they're enamored with the American Confederacy. Germany, in Germany, you can't fly the Nazis, the swastika, or have an image of Hitler, but you could have a Confederate flag. And that's what they've turned to. Those people that's racist. They got Africans in Germany. They got blacks in Europe, all over, but they fly the Confederate flag. Brazil, more blacks outside of Africa than any country outside of Africa. Brazil. They have a yearly festival. The symbol is the Confederate flag. They a lot of the people that was in the Confederate in the United States after the Civil War was lost, they fled the country. They left the country and went to South America, Brazil mainly. They have a festival every year, and their symbol is the Confederate flag. Italy. The Confederate flag is big in Italy, South Italy, because they relate to what happened in America. They feel like the North Italy took over their rights. So they look at the symbol of the Confederate flag as something that they can endear to. Sweden, Ireland, the Ukraine. These are countries that had the Confederate flag. This is a worldwide, this is global. You talking about a pandemic. Racism is a pandemic that's killing us. We got to do something for ourselves. The world is looking on. The world don't care. But then you have South Korea. They flying a banner that says Black Lives Matter. We have major streets and boulevards with Black Lives Matter on it. So whatever these Negro peons is trying to tell you about, this is not the way to do this, and this is not, things are getting done one way or another. Those are the proof is in the pudding. DC, street going to the White House, gigantic Black Lives Matter on it. I know that and actually the mayor of DC is being sued for that. Just so y'all know, being sued because they put Black Lives Matter on the street, but nonetheless it happened. You got people that's conversation is open. And when you have a problem, you have to acknowledge that it's a problem. And a lot of America is acknowledging that didn't acknowledge before that there's a problem. And there's still some ways to go. There's still a lot of people out there that's going to hate. But what it is, the generational thing, when you want change, you want to change a culture, it's not just going to change like that. You know, a lot of these police officers, they need to get off the force. And when you start having new people in there, you start changing the culture. These kids, you can change a culture. That's how you change a culture with generations. It don't happen overnight. So this is what's happening. The rioting, looting, it didn't hurt the cause. Not like people saying that. And I'd like to thank some of y'all that's making comments. I appreciate the compliments, Derek. Freedom, justice, equality, Tracy, I appreciate that. You want change, go vote in November. Just don't talk about change. Be about it. Now, I'm going to comment on that. You said no president can change racism. I appreciate you saying that. I'm glad you said that because I was going to say that. Voting, that's, see the thing about voting in November, vote before November. Vote at your school boards. Get involved in local politics. My thing with people that's talking about voting November, voting November, voting November. We had this thing with Trump. To me, Obama was the best president I've seen in my lifetime. Racism was still rampant. Racism been rampant in America no matter who's the president or whatever. You're not going to change people's hearts with a new president. If anything, you're going to piss them off even more. They're going to galvanize even more. Change what's happening in your community. It didn't matter who the president was when we had Tulsa, Black Wall Street, because we had our own economy. When we had Slocum, when we had all these little pockets, we had the Harlem, everything like that. When we owning things in our community and we supporting ourselves, it doesn't even matter who the president is. We controlling our own employment. That's the main thing Malcolm was about. Can you imagine Malcolm talking about who he gonna vote for? Could you imagine Elaine Brown, Angela Davis, Assata Shakur, H. Rap Brown, Bobby Seale, Huey Newton, Geronimo Pratt, any of them talking about who they want to vote for? They were talking about black empowerment. It's fine. I'm not against people voting, but I'm not thinking that voting is going to change it if we don't change ourselves. You should be wanting to change. What happened in Ferguson when I had that conversation earlier with that non-black person talking about the rioting and thing? I said they rioted in Ferguson. And this is something Desiree brought to my attention because I went and looked up what was happening in Ferguson 5 years later. They got things done. I never knew what Ferguson was until they started rioting. There's people that's been gunned down. If it's not a major city, it's people that's been killed by SWAT teams or police officers in small towns, and I don't even know that town, suburbs or whatever. But when that smoke started coming, people want to know where that smoke is coming from. Now all of us know that Ferguson is in Missouri. None of us knew that before. Even when Mike Brown happened, the incident happened, they reported it, and the next thing was going to happen. But those people made a point that they made a mark in time. The whole world knew what Ferguson was because it hit the fan in Ferguson. My thing is change what you're doing. Change what's happening locally. Change how you spend your money. Empower yourselves. It's all right to go vote, but that's not going to happen. That's not going to help us. Biden, I don't care. The Congress, that whole debacle with the House Democrats wearing the Kenyan cloth. I mean, come on. You know, they trying to endear to us. That's a mockery. Because if y'all really want to do something, go after the Ku Klux Klan. The government went after the Black Panther Party, shut them down. They were shooting them, had them being set up in the street to be assassinated. It made it all right. Y'all want to do something, go out there and stop all these white supremacist groups. Shut them down. Infiltrate them. If you're not doing that, then we need to protect ourselves by any means necessary. We need to do that. And I know I'm running long, y'all. I appreciate y'all, the comments, getting involved. But hopefully things will change and we can make a change. And that should be on the agenda. Spend your money. Buy black. Support black.
White man named Lincoln, again, the same white man issued the Emancipation Proclamation